Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, folks. Michael Zuber, one rental at a time. It is Tuesday, and you know what that means, folks. We bring on Omar, the real estate entrepreneur. How you doing, sir?
What's up, Michael? I'm doing great. What's up, everybody?
Hey, man, I appreciate your dedication to the channel, being one of my experts every week. We just had conversation Saturday, making up for Tuesday, and now it's Tuesday. You're the man. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. It was Sunday, though.
Oh, it was Sunday. Every day Saturday, man. I'm confused.
Every day Saturday for you. I know.
Hey, what I want to talk about here is you've been an entrepreneur, I think, forever. But what I'd like you to do is kind of step back, right? This weekend we celebrated you being a seven-figure earner. You got the plaque, the trophy. I want to step back and go, you know what? These are 3 or 4 traits that you see, right? You are at an event with 250 other entrepreneurs. What are some traits that you see in them that make it, that give you a chance to be great? What are some things you see?
That's huge. The one thing I see is I see the ability to focus on something.
Oh,
Okay.
all right.
The ability to focus on your craft. People really, really dive in, and in the whole entrepreneurial mindset is understanding that you need to get good at something.
Wow.
That jack of all trades is a master of none.
Mm-hmm.
In some sense, you know what, you need to look at it and say you can figure out wholesaling. You can figure out how to be a really good real estate professional, real estate agent, represent buyers. What's your definition of, why do people use you versus somebody else? You have to really dial in your craft.
Right.
And if you're a listing agent, you got to dial in that aspect. Why do people list properties with you? What kind of unique selling proposition you're going to be able to give them? And the focus is such a huge word because it does mean, obviously follow one course until successful, but you really, really want to understand, like you talked about your daily discipline and your buy box. That is focus.
Yeah.
100%. That's focus.
This is amazing because I just put together the 7 rules of one rental at a time. And actually rule number 1 is focus. And it's funny when you bring this up, first and foremost, I see it in you. So it makes total sense. But more importantly, the people that are around me that want to be an entrepreneur and think it's sexy, they listen to Gary Vee and they're going to go do it. You're so right. Most of them that are struggling are not focused. I'm going to do Amazon stores. I'm going to do content creation. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. You're right. It's amazing that I did not expect you to say focus is number 1. And I'm so glad you did.
Yeah. I mean, it's the caveat of everything, because how are you supposed to get to any other level unless you focus on the level that you're in?
That's amazing. Okay.
And that's one of the keys.
All right. What do you got for number 2? I look forward to number 2. What's next?
Well, just because you got the focus doesn't mean it's going to happen by itself. So,
good point.
Because you can have the focus, but now you have to execute that, or the discipline to execute.
Yeah.
And when you have the discipline for it, that means you're going to get up at 5 a.m. You're gonna make 10 calls within the next 2 hours. You're going to call at 9 to 10 or 9 to 10:30, whatever format you're going to be doing. And honestly, it's one of those things where you got a task list, right? You got a task list of things that you got to accomplish for the day. And how focused, you wrote it down. Now you're going to execute. That means you got to absolutely go through them. So you have to have the discipline to remove all the noise. That means the distraction. That means the person walking in the office. That means the phone call that doesn't have any purpose on your list of things that you got to accomplish. Figure that out first, and then allow calls to come in. They can go to voicemail. They can wait 5, 10, 20 minutes. It's not going to be the end of the world.
Yeah.
So I would say the discipline along with the execution, that could be number 3, but the discipline as to understanding your time frame of getting things done. That to me, that's huge.
Yeah, that's amazing. Because again, I'm thinking about the folks that are around me that want to be an entrepreneur because it's cool. And a lot of them know, like the night before, they may create their list of things to do. A couple of
Yep.
them are hard. They're uncomfortable, i.e. making 10 cold calls or 20 or 50 or 100, whatever the number is. You will do in your brain, if you're not disciplined, will do anything you can to do anything but that thing, the thing that's
100%. Yes.
uncomfortable. So you've got to be
Yep.
focused. You got to have the daily discipline and execute. So, man, this is why you're successful, because this is just who you are. You wake up and you're wired this way. It's amazing.
And it's not every day, Michael. You gotta like jumpstart your freaking morning at times, with
Okay.
coffee or whatever the case. But for the most part, you already know. And
Mhm.
this is I don't know. You could say key number 3 or 4 or whatever, because we would 1, 2, 3. Let's just call it focus, discipline, execution, and then
Mm.
you have to 100% be accountable to
Yeah.
yourself.
Yeah.
Okay. So all that stuff is there. The discipline, okay, you have it. The execution, okay, now you're doing it. Now, this is the other thing. Like, you have to understand it. Like, you got to know that you have to hold yourself accountable. No one else is.
Mhm.
Michael's not holding me accountable for things that he needs to do.
Mm-mm.
I'm not holding somebody else accountable for the items or the tasks that I need to accomplish.
Mhm.
So you hold yourself accountable to the things that you want to accomplish. What you did yesterday doesn't mean that you don't have to show up today.
Yeah.
My perspective.
Yeah. One of the things I wanted to ask you about as we're going through this awesome list is, as an entrepreneur, everything you try doesn't work, obviously.
Correct.
Where does effort, trying and learning, and then like pivoting or going somewhere else? Because I see a lot of people try something, they've gone to YouTube University, it doesn't work, it was a headache or whatever. And then they sit down and they complain instead of going, okay, what can I learn from this? What else could I try? Get around, get over, dig a tunnel, blow it up, right? The wall can be removed lots of different ways, and sitting down and doing nothing is usually not a great idea.
You broke up that last part,
Yeah.
Michael.
So what I was saying is, what do you do when you run into a wall and something you tried didn't work? Right?
Okay.
Go around, get over, get under, blow it up. What do you do?
That's huge. How about understanding what kind of wall it is?
Oh, look at that. Okay. Yeah.
Like, what kind of wall? What kind of challenge is faced in front of you? What kind of solution could you bring to face that challenge? And this means it could be personal. It could be the person that you're dealing with. It could be the damn, everything is falling into me. I'm losing escrows. 2 or 3 sellers don't want to sell their property because they got cold feet. And now you're at a point of like, well, these are my investment properties. You can't cancel.
Mhm.
I mean, all this stuff happens in real life.
Mhm.
You don't hit the quota for the technology company that you were in, that you ran those teams. You don't hit that quota. In essence, a wall.
Mhm.
So what are you going to do to fix it? Or what are you going to do to either, again, maybe you figure out your tools are a little bit better to grind through it.
Mhm.
There's weak spots in the wall,
Mhm.
which is called grout.
Yeah.
And if you can get to the grout, you're able to move the bricks. I mean, that's a harder way to
Yeah.
get
No,
around it
I
or to
like it.
get through it. But it's a metaphor that I'm kind of just creating
Yeah.
now. But at the same time, it's like, figure out how to provide the solution for that issue that you're in, because there's always a solution.
Yeah.
You know what? There always is. There's maybe Michael and I talked about something, right? And then now you understand, oh, okay, that makes sense. Or just get rid of it. Fuck it. Sorry for the language, but remove it. Okay, don't go down that road. Screw it. There's another road. Who cares if it's not paved? Who cares if it's not pretty? Make another road.
Yeah. Kind of the last question I'll ask you on this topic, and I didn't plan to go here, but this has been so amazing, is I'm curious about your idea, right? Do you think entrepreneurs are born or made? Like, because in my opinion, you were always going to be an entrepreneur. Me, I don't really feel like an entrepreneur. I'm more like an employee slash investor. So do you think becoming a great entrepreneur can be learned, or you just think you're kind of born there, wired that way? What do you think?
No, honestly, this is a good question. Um, you might have the gift to be an entrepreneur, just like someone will have skill to be a great basketball player.
Mhm.
Okay. But the person that outworks the one with the skill ends up beating the one that was born with the skill,
Mm,
if that makes sense. Because
yeah.
honestly, there's people out there that outwork me. They do, and I'll be honest.
Yeah.
And do they make more? I'm sure.
Yeah.
Some of them try to outwork me, but they may not make more.
Mm,
So really, it's just about timing. And you throw enough spaghetti against the wall, something's going to stick, right?
mm,
But you got to be a little bit smarter than that. You
yeah.
got to take other people's failures to learn from. And actually, this is what's important about being a little bit humble
Mhm,
is see what other people do, okay,
mhm,
and then copy them. Understand that you're able to create your own avenue of that skill, right? And keep practicing
yeah.
because you could learn how to be an entrepreneur. Why? Because the failures that keep on hitting you will end up having you set up for like, oh, I've already been there, done that. Cool. So now you make a small adjustment and now you proceed. And now,
Yeah.
which means you win.
Yeah.
That means you actually, you know what, you're going to fail 10 times. But on the 11th time, everyone will tell you, wow, you got lucky. No, I failed 10 times.
Yeah. I get
I'm
it. That,
telling you.
dude, that's a hot button for me. You call me lucky after looking at my market for 21 years in a row. That's good. That'll piss me off.
Uh-huh.
Oh
But
my,
I'm telling you.
yeah. How can
Yeah,
how
sorry.
can people follow you? Because this is awesome. And folks, episode number 2, we're going to talk about mistakes and lessons you can learn from this. But before we do, Omar, how can people follow you?
Follow me on IG at Omar_Alfaro or go to my website, omaralfaro.com.
Thanks, buddy. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.